Let's let the sun shine in, shall we? Yes, blessed. Boom, baby. Rise and shine. Even on a rainy, cloudy day. It's on the inside, staying dry. But there goes my mind. I haven't been able to go outside. Haven't been able to do anything but a couple curls for workouts. Did 2 days in a row, but now I'm stuck in the room, because of the rain. And now it's time for me to go insane because I've been texting with my mom and it's always been emotional. And she's been telling me that she's glad that I'm alive. And I was telling her that there's been times I wasn't glad that I'm alive. And anybody that can relate, let's talk to it. The house is a mess. These kids ransacked this place. That shit was all over the ground. Everything you see here literally was all over the ground over there. And literally, while I'm doing the show, I'm getting deja vu like I've done this before. So, pardon me as I figure out what the fuck's going on with my life and see if I can't make this into a reality. See, your boy Saint has to work really hard at finding my mentality. My brain tends to go to the negative, and it's not the thing I'm most proud of. And it's something that I talked about yesterday. But, part of being me also means I have some suffering. And it's not exactly like my favorite thing to do. Can't believe I just threw that back in here. That's trash. But I have to get my mind right. I have to be able to get my mind right so I can act right so that my life will get right. And unfortunately, in my life hasn't always felt right. Bless, bro. Thanks for watching. Welcome to the hurricane, man. Welcome to the hurricane. And it's unfortunate, but I don't want to go quote for what me and my mom have been texting, but sometimes my mom can be a very loving and understanding woman. And on the other time, she can be quite the bitch, and she doesn't want to be called a fucking bitch. And I didn't call her a fucking bitch. I said, you're being a fucking bitch. But that's my relationship with my mom. Scorpios have stingers, Tauruses have horns. And I tried to explain what's going on with my life and my mom, and she's always been like, you still got your family. And I'm like, what family? Who do I even get to talk to but the fucking YouTube internet to even get conversations started or things done in my life? My mom seems to think that a lot has been done for me in my life, and I'm over here going like, nah, chick, I've been actually building this thing called me this whole time. And she admits that I've done a lot for myself as far as like starting my own business without any money, or little things like big things like staying in shape and doing right by me mentally. Those are going to be always my contribution to myself. She would like to say that I've had influences with my stepdad. I would like to say that me and my stepdad have bumped heads quite a bit, actually. And if you were to tell me that me and him were to get along later on in life, I would have told you bullshit. He has lent me money. I'm grateful for that. It's about the only thing that's kind of kept me alive was that money that went to my summer weed festival. About 5 grand that he lent me, kind of impromptuly, if you can say that, impromptu, impromptly, on an impromptu level. Let's leave it like that. And I wasn't like I was expecting my stepdad to come save me. Unfortunately, me and him had words too, and I said something to the effect of, "You're who are you? You're not even my father." And I'm sure that hurt him. I don't remember saying those exact words, but that's what my mom would like to remind me. My mom would like to remind me of every time I didn't call my grandma for Mother's Day. Apparently, I call my grandma for every birthday. Me and her have an open relationship, and I call her all the time. But my mom would like to get in my mind and start manipulating, mind fucking me. Part of me can't absorb that kind of love. That kind of love where you're only loved when you're on the good seat. Whenever you're in the hot seat, it's like, fuck you, I'm gonna call the cops on you. You're just like your father. You're just like your Uncle Peter. You're gonna be a jailbird your whole life. Da 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 da. Same mom Keep that same attitude. It's Mother's Day, not Grandmother's Day. And that's what I said to her. I said, she's not my mom. You're my mom. But she was like, your grandma was really dismayed. She used the word dismayed. Your grandmother was really dismayed because she didn't hear from you for Mother's Day. And I was like, I would spend all day on the phone with all my aunts being mothers and all the other friends that are mothers and all the bullshit that I've gone through just to keep up with all the fucking shit that's actually happened in my life. So I couldn't expect to be calling everyone 8,000 different times. Let me see if this is my homie. It looks like my homie's back. I think he's back. Needs to call her on Mother's Day. Exactly. But she would like to. You're okay? I'm just checking on you, bro. Yeah. All right. I'm filming live, so I got you. I'm on my YouTube. So it's one of those things where I have to go into the forest and unfuck my mom, unfuck my mom, unfuck my mind, so that I can't even think straight. It's like this woman likes to get in my head and fuck with me something fierce, and she would like me to say that my aunts have helped me tremendously, and I'm like, my aunt. One of my aunts has helped me with a resume once. I took her out to lunch for that. One of my aunts has helped me once. I got four aunts, so one of them hasn't helped me at all, and one of them I'm really close with, and then the other one helped me one time with $200 because I didn't have a credit card and I needed to help with my magazine. And I actually asked my uncle, because I don't have an uncle, so that he could help me, and I actually paid that back. But you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If anybody else can follow along with that, I've never done enough for my stepdad, even though I'm the only one that's had a relationship with him, and my siblings don't even talk to him, and my siblings don't talk to most of my family because they're still hurt and burnt by my parents' divorce, and it's just a fuck all situation. I was like sitting here going, in this cloudy, rainy day right behind me, cold, cloudy, and rainy day, I had to process that not all my days have been awesome. I had to be real with people and be like, I'm not always on top of the hill working out, being Mr. Fitness and shit's awesome and I feel great. No, you got to be me when I feel like shit, when the days are long, or my stomach hurts, or when I got no money, or when I'm feeling lonely and I'm the only one here on the other side of the world, and everybody else's gets to be, oh, you get to travel the world, Saint, and I'm like, maybe so, but I also don't have a travel companion. I also have to go into debt to do it. I have to pay the price for the prize just like everyone else, and I felt like maybe, just maybe, the one guy came up, he's like, I wish I had a business and I could go travel the world and do what you're doing. And I'm thinking, bro, you don't even know how many times I've been homeless. You don't know how many times I've been in jail or in prison. You don't know how many times I've been broke or people didn't like me. Try being me after my whole implosion of on my birthday, when I'm doing the summer weed festival and I'm putting fucking meth heads in headlocks, bro. It's like not even fucking funny, and it's not even, but people would like to look at 40 years of hard work, like my spiritual mentor Terry Prince would say, and call it overnight success. And it's like, this hasn't been no fucking overnight success. It's been me chipping away at everything that I hold dear, just so I can hold myself dear, just so I can even be a human, to even be on the fucking internet and show people how I get out of my own fucking depression, let alone not wanting to have depression. It's like that, it's like everybody wants to be rich, nobody wants to be poor, everybody wants to be healthy, nobody wants to have a sickness, and it says in sickness and in health. And I'm trying to marry somebody who didn't participate in that. She already divorced somebody. It was supposed to be for richer or for poorer. How many girls do you know are waiting around for poorer? How many are invested in their man till he actually becomes rich? No, they're usually waiting at the end, fucking the winners, and whoever's at the finish line. And you're like, damn. So I get no sympathy and I get no understanding as a man in my mental psychology till I win something, till I'm successful at something. Then all of a sudden people actually listen to me or actually hear me gripe. They're not going to want to hear me bitch about losing my child. They're only going to want to hear that I was arguing with my pregnant wife, and I know that I'm not going to get heard. I know that it's like there's no way anybody's going to ever hear me say that she was calling me names, or she was instigating me into fights, or she was walking away and stonewalling me. Nobody's going to ever want to hear that kind of shit, and I don't want to hear it for myself. I too had to look and be responsible for me. I'm the one that did the time in South Korean prison, as my mom would like to mention. She would be like, take this time to heal yourself, and I'm like, what do you think I'm already doing? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, what do you think is happening right now as your son is literally clawing back from depression and suicidal thoughts and trying to work out again and trying to find a friend? I have to go across the world because I don't get it from my family. She'd like to say, well, when if you're ever feeling lonely, call upon your family. Call who? The last time I called my uncle who just came into my life, he told me he's not the one. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, get over it. I'm getting fucking hella raw dog speeches from these people that are supposed to be in my corner, and everybody's like, you're just supposed to suck it up and deal with it. And I'm sitting here going like, well, get over it isn't good advice. And if men's suicides rates were going down, then I wouldn't have to do this kind of fucking show now, would I? But that's not what's happening. Unfortunately, what is happening is that we're all in this mess. We all have to fucking find a lover in our lives. We're all gonna have our fucking hearts ripped out and railroaded. This is part of the game called life, and it's not the fun part. I can tell you that. And everybody wants to be around for fun parts, but then there's this fucking chaotic parts where things aren't all right. And I'm sometimes not okay. Sometimes it's a rainy fucking day. Sometimes it's not fucking touchdowns and on top of the world and pure Vita type feelings. It's gonna be one of those days where you're gonna feel like worthless. And that's what I started to dawn on me. And I did the research, and they asking these men, they literally wrote letters before they died, and they go like, what's going on? Worthless and useless came up a lot in these men. They kept saying that they felt worthless, like they felt like they didn't do anything with their lives. We're talking a lot of dudes between 35 and 45 years old, right in my age range, killing themselves because they don't feel like anybody wants to listen to them. And if you talk about it, then you lose your pecking order with the women that you wanted to be with in the first place. They're going to see you as weak. So it's like you're going to be looked at as weak and made fun of by men. And then you're going to have to go see a psychologist, which is really not going to look good in your resume. And then people are going to be like, well, just don't kill yourself. Everything's going to be okay. And you're like, it's not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not okay with arguing with my mom. I'm not okay with not feeling good some days. I'm not okay with losing all my equipment in the fucking when I opened up my shop, and the guy literally stole all my shit. The guy that I was renting the place for stole it from me, made me pay him 3 grand. I had to sell my printer so I could have 3 grand so I could get my shit back, including my heirlooms, like a watch from my granddad and a fucking my great aunt's ashes, which were opened and spilled. Nobody's gonna want to hear all that shit. They're not gonna want to hear that. I've had breakdowns, and then my friend was saying the other day, dude, I had a panic attack. They're not gonna want to hear about your. So I've had days where I was disconnected and not connected. I've had days where I felt really on top of the world and nothing could stop me. And then I've had the world stop me. I've been in South Korean prison, and people are gonna be, well, that's your own responsibility. And I'm like, you're right. I should have been thrown in prison for 5 years over 3 grams of weed. You're right. You caught Pablo Escobar or grams of weed. You're right. You caught Pablo Escobar. Or how about every time I've been in jail and you're gonna call me like my Uncle Peter, but I'm only just poor. And the fact that I can't afford a whole new fucking engine or a whole new car. I could pass a smog so I could get registered and then pay for that registration. Lo and behold, I've been starting a business from nothing, but I'm the felon. I'm the jailbird. And it's just one of those things where I'm the black sheep. I have a shirt design already done, but that's what it feels like. When you're the black sheep, you feel like the heel, the butt of the bread. You feel like the blunt of the joke, like there's a lot of people that will look at you and judge you and point at you and be like, you didn't do XYZ. And you're over here going like, I did my best. And then they're like, well, it's not good enough. And then you get back to worthless. Then you get back to, why am I even alive? What is my purpose? And then that's what these rainy, cloudy, fucking cold ass days start to do to a man, is that we end up looking at ourselves very critical. They worry about women and the way that they feel about their self-esteem on social media, but they never talk about men's self-esteem, and not even about social media, but in general, how we can constantly beat up over the head through internet, or a girl that we try to talk to. We're out there sharing what we only have left for a dinner with somebody that we hope can get fed. They literally will save your name as food or hungry, or you're not even a name, and then you're not even in their Instagram feed, You're not even in their stories. They're glued to the Instagram, but you can take them to sushi dinners and all of a sudden disappear in their feed. And that's right. Nothing in life is free. Teach us something funny. Did you visit the sauna on a rainy day? Yes, I have. Love you, buddy. You're a good chap. No, I appreciate that. No, it's just I don't always get to feel awesome, and I'm not on any psychedelics, and I'm not on any antidepressants, and I'm not on any medications to correct that. So I got to live in a world where I have to process these things and not end up hurting myself, but to live with myself and all the things that have happened to me in my life. I'm sitting here going like, this is a lot. It's a lot to hear from my mom, and she's on some shit where she's like, I don't know, I don't want to say on a high horse, but she wants to kind of pretend like she didn't have any involvement. I sat there and told her, I said, I wish I was. I wish my parents never got divorced. I said, I wish that, what was the other thing that I said? I said, I never got divorced. I wish it was taller. I wish it was healthier. Everybody has the thing when you wish I had a fucking 6 feet, six pack, 6 inch dick, fucking over 6 inch dick, please, for me. And, one of those things where it would be like envious to look at someone else's life and a celebrity and say, oh, they got it all. They got money. They must have all the solutions. And to forget that other people have these catastrophic events happen to them in their lives, and I'm not the only one. So it's just one of those, it sinks till you're in the midst of a cold, rainy, cloudy motherfucking day and life isn't working or going your way. I know what that feels like. I've been there before where my shit didn't work right, where the things I was looking for weren't helping me anymore. And I wasn't getting happier. And the things that I was doing wasn't gonna be any better by me just beating up on me. So it's this conversation that I had to have with people or do this kind of show and talk about those rainy, cloudy days where you're not feeling like you're Superman. You're not feeling like you're the best man that you can be. You can say that you're a good chap, but he says that's normal. Think of life as a cycle. My mom would say that too. She would say, "Be grateful that you're alive, and not your brother." I guess I could say the child that didn't make it. My mom almost had a fifth child. His name would have been me, and it's hard to say that to a woman, especially your mom, when you say, "I love you." It's hard to hear the words like, "I still love you" from my ex after she's murdered my child, or my mom, "I love you, but you called the cops on me." I'm like, are we the same person? Am I even talking to the same person? Am I too logical or am I too emotional? And these things are going back and forth in my head and in my world where it's like, yeah, I'd love to feel fucking super awesome and flexed up all the fucking time and conquering the world. And then sometimes the grief will kick in and go, you just lost your child. You're one of the worst human beings that ever lived. You should have never fought or grabbed on your fucking pregnant girlfriend, telling her, get the fuck out of the car. Get your fat ass out of the car is actually what I said in a very angry way. I should have never called her fat. I should have never grabbed her. I should have never argued with her. And then for me to lose my child over a moment of anger, over miscommunication, over some stupid shit, really bites my dust. But oh, it's not like something I can just sleep it off. 2 years later, I still talk about it every day. I wake up at the first thing in my morning, and I'm supposed to process how successful I was at this event that I went to, and how many shirts that I sold, or how many followers that I got. And I'm almost to 3,000 followers, and that I have a place to stay, and I practice my gratitude on my meals, and I practice my gratitude with my friends, and I'm grateful that this is my healing way, that I'm getting any kind of health and healing from this journey at all. But it's also a mind fuck to think that it was just going to easy cakewalk it, that I don't have to deal with the kids that are here, or deal with my friend breaking and going into his own psychoticness, or the other friends that had domestic violence, or this other guy that I just met from the internet, and I stayed at his house in Ireland, and lo and behold, he's a hoarder with a mean temper. I had to deal with all this stuff. So it's easy to say, yeah, dude, I want your life. I want to fucking have time off. And people start asking me weird questions like how much money you make in a month, or how do you pay your bills, or I wish I could have a business too. And it's like, don't wish, work. How many people are want to going to work on the days that it's cloudy, or get up early, or keep doing things after you don't feel like doing them anymore? That's what it feels like. That's the price that I've had to pay to have this life, and I'm not even a big fan of it. You know what I mean? I'm not screaming I love my life anymore. I'm not wearing that shirt. I should make it for somebody else, because I felt that I did love my life, that I was on this trajectory of success, that I met the woman of my dreams. We got each other's jokes. She smoked weed. We got along, and then we didn't get along. And now I have nothing. And that's what I have nothing. And that's what people don't want to talk about when you take the children away from men. When people don't want to talk about when you take the children away from men, when you take your love away from men, when you take your support away from men, how do we cope without having a world of compassion from the women that we're seeking? More than compassion, it's love and reciprocation, that when we put in that energy that you're talking us into, giving up our whole lives into being modern day slaves for a woman that might not respect us, that might not reciprocate the same, might cheat on us, might divorce us, might keep us away from our children, and now you're asking us to keep going to work. Men don't have feelings. And it's like, dude, I have a lot of feelings. I have a lot of emotions. I have a lot of passion. I have a lot of ideas. This has been me the whole time. I wouldn't have done it at Saints Addiction. I wouldn't have started Mostly Saints. I wouldn't have done a fucking thing print in an hour if it wasn't for at least a determination to have some kind of control over my life and turn it into a something instead of the zero nothing that I feel sometimes inside. That I felt like I was worthless too. That nothing I ever did was worth a fuck. All the energy, all the hours, all the events, all the sore feet, all the sore backs, gone in minutes because now I don't have my child. I couldn't weigh it up against anything because nothing looked worthy enough. That level of happiness that I was going to be a father with a son that was also a Taurus too, like me, an April baby. It's everything to me, and I've something I've wanted my whole life before I even wanted a business. And now that I have a business, and friends are like, "You get to travel alone. You don't have kids to tie you down." Sure, I don't have kids yelling in the living room or making a mess in the living room, but I would much rather have my kids around me than being alone in the extra room. It's always a measure, and we always try to measure ourselves to what other people have or what we think that's awesome about their lives. And like, at least you got your girlfriend, at least at least you got a beard. And I mean, like, this same beard that gets attention also gets attention from the wrong people. It gets me that second look by the police. It gets me followed by the police. It gets me searched in internet. Like, again, suck it up, pussy. That's what men do. And I'm sitting here going like, men also kill themselves because it's a lot to suck up. It's a lot to have a bipolar mom that likes to kind of get it in and tell me about all the ways that I didn't make it work instead of how proud of she. Well, she said it too. She says she's proud of me and that I'm making myself and that she's always gonna be my ride or die. But sometimes she's died on me. Sometimes she's turned coat and made herself into the Doctor Jekyll, Mrs. Hyde that she actually is, because that's what happened. To sit her down and cover her mouth, and I'm embarrassed that I had to cover her mouth and say stop yelling, but she was so aggressive towards me that I actually had to slow her down. And I didn't get to pick the fight that was with my ex. She was telling me that I was no good at explaining things right before we started a fight. And I asked her, can you find your happy? Is it too much to ask to have a woman in my life that does all the things that she was doing for me, but actually have my back and stick around, to actually sit there and go, let's talk it out. I know this is difficult. It sounds like you're going through a tough time. You're going to want me to be a psychologist. You're going to want me to listen to everything that you have to say. You're going to want me to be empathetic. That was the word that I was looking for. You're going to want me to understand everything that's going on with your ex and talk about your ex in my bed. And she even told me, one of the last things she even told me is, I'm going to find someone who does let me talk about my ex or listens to me talk about my ex relationships. I'm like, go find that turd. Go find that fucking simp of a man that wants to hear about your ex and all your ex problems and all the decisions that you made that had nothing to do with me at all, and go, yeah, I'm your free psychologist. I'm just gonna listen to your bullshit and let it just take it on the chin, because I couldn't shut up. I couldn't take that kind of shit. I couldn't take that kind of noise. I couldn't grin and bear it. Apparently, it triggered me. I'm like, nah, dude, you better come fresh. You know what I mean? I never expected to have a child with a woman that already had children. I didn't expect to have all that baggage and that trauma that came with her old relationship, and I didn't expect to have any of that. I thought it was going to be clean. I thought everything in my life was just going to be smooth sailing, and then of course there's not. And it's one of those things that I have to face the things that are imbalanced and are out of balance, and take them with a grain of salt, but also keep a smile on my face, turn my frown upside down, keep pushing ahead, keep finding my confidence, keep finding my health, keep pushing myself to go out for these workouts. And I have to force myself daily to go get this kind of psychology. sort of reprieve, because life is that fucking hard, man. And I don't know anybody else is doing it better. So if you have more answers than I do have questions, or if you have more logic than I have emotions, or you have figured out a way to never have a conflict with anyone, or repair damage with your family, or undo the past, or not feel shitty when you're supposed to feel good, please comment below. I'm willing to learn too. I wanted to know that if there was a way that I could let the touchdown sink in deeper, the days that I actually have all my logos together and people are a fan of them, and I can make a little bit of money on them and make my friends proud of me, and have a place for us to sit and have a little powwow and a camp and camp it out and thug it out. That would have been dope. Like, just it was dope. But it only lasted today. Now it's a cloudy day and it doesn't roll over. Then I have text messages with my mom, and she's saying some shit that don't make sense. And I'm just like, man, I'm gonna forever argue with this woman. I'm never gonna see eye to eye with her. She's always gonna say that she loves me and has my back, and I'm always gonna love my mom. Lord knows it. But she also drives me fucking crazy. The days I don't get voicemails from my mom or text messages from my mom, I'm gonna bitch and complain about that too when she passes away. But I don't want to leave her a legacy. She's trying to throw me out there with Robert De Niro's having babies at 73, or Adrian with 25-year-old ladies goal. But by that time, she'll be dead. And I always wanted her to be around. I cried before my great aunt Marlene died, because I was like, you're not going to be around to see my children grow up. And she's like, oh, dear, I'm always going to be there. And for sure, she's always here. I can feel her holding my hand and talking to me. I can hear her voice and her vibe just by thinking about her. So she's right. She's right. She's always going to be there for me, and I'm grateful for that. But I also wanted to get my touchdowns. I wanted my grandma to see my shop before it closed. That never happened. My great aunt died before I had children. I ain't trying to have my mom die or my grandma die before I have children. I'm not trying to be an old grandpa dad. I'm trying to fucking get the touchdown that I almost had. And this is just me going on and on and on. But like men's mental health, mental stability, mental health matters. And it's just one of those things where on a cloudy day, this is a great way to explain that it's not always rainbows and butterflies, dude. It's not always t-shirts, marketing, and mostly Saints. It's not always LVOG time. It's going to be some time that I have to process with myself, my emotions, without the gym, without support from my family, without understanding, and being all alone in my own head. Welcome to the Saints addiction. That's what my thing's been. I'd love to be. I'm on a mission. I'd love to be guilty free. I'd love to say that I didn't do anything, and no one is perfect, bro. That's what been my point with this whole show, is no one is perfect, and it's really one of the hardest things I've had to do. And it could have called it Saint psychology. It was just to get my mind right and encourage myself to do things in my own life. It is all part of the cycle. There will be ups and downs. Yes, thank you, Benny Mac. You have dealt with your mother for a long time, so you know what she is like. You can predict her behavior, so decipher the response. And here we are. I wish my mama seeing things the way that I see it, and for the most part, she's the closest human to me on this planet. So it's difficult. Moms are difficult. Life is difficult, and we've already talked about those challenges. If you got anything to add to it, go ahead, like, share, subscribe below. But most importantly, comment below. Peace and love. And as always, Chigatan. That means goodbye, but not forever. In Phoenix, live from Finland, your boy Marky Saint, Saints Addiction. Peace and love. I'll see you on the other side. Ciao.